At family brunch, my nephew pointed at my bag and said, "Dad says you buy knockoffs." Then he cut the strap with a butter knife. The table burst out laughing. That night, I ended the $1,100 transfer that paid for his private school. Forever. I can't stand my nephew. There, I said it. Eli's 9 years old and I honestly can't think of a single time he's been enjoyable to be around. I've smiled through his tantrums. I've sat through his screaming in restaurants while his parents scroll through Instagram like nothing's happening. I've watched him insult waiters, throw food at other kids, and once I caught him spitting on a neighbor's dog and calling it ugly. And yet, somehow, everyone treats him like he's the second coming of Einstein. He's spirited, intellectually advanced, just too smart for other kids. What he is completely unchecked. No rules. No consequences. And for a long time, no boundaries with me either. I still paid for half of his private school tuition. I didn't offer, Ryan asked. Said it was just until he got a raise. That was almost 2 years ago. Every month, $1,100 left my account and went straight into his son's overpriced, underdisciplined education. I never got a thank you. Not even a text on my birthday. Ryan and his wife Megan act like I owe them. Because I'm single. Because I have a good job. Because I don't have real responsibilities like they do. And somewhere along the way they started treating my money like it belonged to them. I used to think I was doing the right thing. Helping family, giving my nephew a shot at a better life. Now I think I was just enabling them. Then came the brunch. The one that flipped the switch. It was my dad's idea. He wanted all of us together at this new brunch place downtown. The kind where the wait list is 3 weeks out and the food is stacked vertically on the plate. My parents, Ryan, Megan, Eli, and me. I wore a dress I'd bought for a work gala and carried a handbag I had saved up for. It was a big purchase, but I didn't regret it. I never splurged on myself. This one time I did. The moment I sat down, Eli's eyes went straight to my bag. He said it loud enough that a couple at the next table turned their heads. "Dad says you buy fake bags to feel rich." I didn't even have time to respond before he reached across the table, grabbed a butter knife and started sawing at the strap. I thought he was pretending at first. Then the strap gave way, cleanly like he'd practiced. He held it up, proud of himself, while the table exploded with laughter. Ryan leaned back like this was the height of comedy. Megan giggled like she was in on the joke. My mom looked a little stunned but still laughed. My dad tried to hide it but he was smiling too. "Relax," Ryan said, "it's not like it's real." That was the moment something clicked. Not just with Eli, but with all of them. This wasn't just about a purse. It was about respect. About how they really saw me. Not as family but as a resource. A wallet with a face. A childless woman who owed them because she didn't have a family of her own. I finished my drink, got up and left before the entrees came. That night I logged into my online banking and ended the transfer. No warning. No text. Just canceled it. The next payment was due in 2 days. Let them deal with it. But I already knew. Ryan wouldn't take it quietly. And when the fallout started, I wasn't going to hold back anymore. Not this time. 3 mornings passed before Ryan noticed. That's when the first text came through. I was sipping coffee at my desk, catching up on emails when my phone buzzed. "Hey, I think you forgot the transfer. Just checked and nothing came in. Can you send it today?" The school already sent a notice. I didn't answer. I didn't even open it right away. I knew this would happen. I had been funding their lives so smoothly they hadn't once checked in on the money, just assumed it would show up like magic. I left the message unread and got back to my spreadsheets. That night he followed up. "Kiana, come on. They charge $40 a day in late fees. I'm not trying to nag, but this isn't just about us. Eli's gonna feel it. Can you just handle it and we'll talk?" I handled it alright. I poured a drink, turned my phone off and went to bed early. By day 5 he was calling. 2 missed calls from Ryan, 1 from Megan, and then the cherry on top. A voicemail from my mother. "Kiana, honey. I don't want to get in the middle, but can you call your brother? He said something happened at brunch. Can we talk?" I called her that evening, expecting her to tell me I was overreacting. Instead, I told her exactly what happened. Eli's comment, the knife, the laughter, Ryan's smug face. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't embellish. I just told the truth. There was a long pause. Then she said, "I didn't realize it was that bad. I'll talk to your brother." That was the first time I felt like someone had actually heard me. And it wasn't over. Saturday came and went. Total silence in the family group chat. No, look at Eli's science project. No, Megan's in Arizona with the girls. Just dead quiet. Until Sunday morning when my dad texted me. "Can you come over around 2? We need to talk." I showed up on time. Ryan was already there, pacing the living room like he'd been waiting to explode. Megan was nowhere to be seen. Probably still sipping cocktails in a rooftop pool somewhere, parenting from a distance. My mom sat on the couch, her expression tight. My dad stood by the window, arms crossed. Ryan didn't even say hello. You really pulled tuition over a handbag? I ignored that. I asked if he even realized how humiliating that brunch was. How his son destroyed something I paid for with zero consequences, while the entire table acted like it was some kind of comedy sketch. He didn't flinch. He said I was being dramatic. Then came the part that made me see red. You have no idea what it's like raising a kid. You've got disposable income and no family. You should want to help. I laughed once. He just slipped out. He wasn't even pretending to hide it anymore. The sense of entitlement wasn't subtle. He was spelling it out. My dad stepped in before I could reply. Sit down, Ryan. Ryan paused. My dad wasn't the type to bark orders. He didn't raise his voice, but when he spoke like that, you listened. You think we're going to let this continue? You're not parenting Eli. You're spoiling him, defending him, letting him embarrass your sister and everyone else. You think because she doesn't have kids, her money's yours? He didn't let Ryan respond. If you can't start acting like a father, I will. That boy has disrespected your sister, your mother, even me. He's 9. And he's walking around like the world owes him everything. The room went silent. My mom looked stunned. Ryan looked like he'd been slapped. I stayed quiet. There was nothing left to say. They were finally seeing what I'd known for years. Ryan didn't argue. He just sat down, eyes low, like he'd finally realized the weight of what he'd been doing. And still Megan wasn't there. Because Megan rarely was. Megan came back into town like nothing had happened. Tan, glowing, dragging a matching luggage set behind her like she'd just returned from filming a reality show. Her Instagram had been a highlight reel of champagne glasses, poolside yoga and rooftop dinners with friends who all looked like they'd never said no to anything in their lives. Eli had been melting down all week. My mom told me he got pulled out of class twice. Once for shoving a kid during group work and again for calling a staff member a servant. When the principal called Ryan, he apparently brushed it off as stress from transitions. The kind of thing parents say when they don't want to admit their child's turning into a walking red flag. But Megan? She hadn't even texted. Not my mom, not Ryan, not even to ask how Eli was doing. Saturday morning, Ryan invited everyone over. He called it a reset. His exact words were, "I think we all need a clean slate." That's how I knew he was spiraling. Ryan doesn't talk like that unless he's trying to keep something from falling apart. Megan arrived late. She walked into my parents' living room like it was an audition. Hugs, big smiles. "I missed you guys." She sat down, crossed her legs and looked around like she expected applause. Ryan was sitting on the arm of a chair, eyes half dead, looking like he hadn't slept all week. My dad didn't even say hello to her. Then she said it. "I just think it's really toxic to hold money over a child's head. It's punishing Eli for something he doesn't understand. No apology. No ownership. Not even a question about what actually happened. He didn't care." She wanted to defend the image of their perfect little life, not the reality they'd created. Before I could open my mouth, my mom did. "Are you actually listening to yourself, Megan?" That alone was shocking. My mom usually avoids conflict like it's radioactive. But something had snapped. Maybe it was watching Eli spiral all week. Maybe it was seeing her son exhausted and beaten down. Maybe it was guilt for laughing at brunch. Whatever it was, she didn't stop. Sienna paid for that school. He helped raise your child. And you watched your son destroy her bag in public and said nothing. Then you flew across the country like you were still 25 and childless. Who do you think you are? Megan tried to play it off with a little laugh, but no one laughed back. Not this time. My dad stood again. That's become his thing now, standing when he's had enough. He looked directly at her. "Megan, I've never said this before, but if you don't want to be a mother, that's your choice. But if you don't start parenting that boy, then you're going to find yourself a very long way from this family. Eli stays here every weekend until further notice. And we will be involved in how he's raised, since clearly someone has to be." Megan's jaw clenched. But she didn't argue. Maybe because she knew the fight wasn't winnable. Or maybe because for once, someone told her she wasn't entitled to a free pass. That afternoon, after everyone had left, Ryan called me alone. No group message, no Megan hovering. Just him. He asked if I could cover one more tuition payment. Just $600. Said the school was giving them a temporary reduction while they reassessed Eli's place there. He said that word like it was code for something worse. I didn't say anything right away. He kept talking. Said he knew he'd messed up. Said Megan was trying, and that things were changing. That he was changing. He sounded tired. Not defensive, not angry. Just tired. I said I'd do it. Once. And never again. He didn't thank me the way he used to, all smug and performative. This time he just went quiet. And I think that silence meant something. For the first time in years, I believed him when he said he was going to fix it. The following week was quiet. Too quiet. No text from Ryan. No passive-aggressive calls from Megan. No updates from my parents. I knew they were regrouping, probably still in damage control mode. I figured the school incident had rattled them, but I didn't know how bad it really was, until Thursday morning when my mom called and said one word: suspended. She didn't explain right away. She just said it and waited for my reaction. I wasn't surprised, just curious. Eli had thrown his lunch tray at another kid. Hard enough to leave a bruise on the kid's cheek. It wasn't just some childish scuffle. There were 3 adults who saw the whole thing. The other boy had apparently made a joke about Eli's shoelaces being untied. Eli responded by mocking the kid's clothes, said his mom probably shops at Walmart. When the boy told him to shut up, Eli dumped his entire tray, milk, spaghetti, the whole mess, onto his head. Then, in front of teachers, he said, "My mom says kids like that grow up to clean our houses." The school sent him home immediately. They called Ryan, who showed up within an hour. Alone. Megan didn't answer her phone. According to my mom, she had flown to Chicago the night before to spend time with her sister. No one knew when she'd be back. Ryan, for the first time in his life, didn't argue with the school. He just sat there and nodded. They told him if there was one more incident, verbal, physical, anything, Eli would be removed from the school entirely. Not suspended, expelled. But that wasn't the unexpected part. Later that day my phone rang. I expected it to be Ryan. It wasn't. It was Eli. He was calling from Ryan's phone, and at first I thought maybe he dialed me by accident. But he said, "Hi, it's me." I waited. He never just calls me. Even when I used to buy him stuff, Megan or Ryan would prompt him. This time no one had. Then he asked, "Can I stay at your house?" I blinked. For a second I thought he meant a visit. Then I realized he was trying to escape. Ryan had taken away the tablet, the TV, even the backyard privileges. He'd cancelled all extracurriculars. There were no Legos. No iPad. No playdates. Just books. Rules. I asked why he wanted to come. He said, "Dad's being really weird. He keeps asking me what I was thinking. I don't want to talk about it again." I said no. He went quiet, like he hadn't prepared for that. Then he said something that made me pause. "I didn't mean to mess up your bag. Thought it was a joke. Everyone was laughing. Thought you were too." I didn't reply at first. I wasn't used to hearing him sound normal. Not sweet. Just aware. Like he'd finally noticed the world outside of himself. He said, "I didn't know it was expensive." I told him, "You didn't need to know how expensive it was. You just needed to know it wasn't yours." That was the end of the call. But what I didn't expect was what came next. That evening Ryan called. Not to ask for money. Not to argue. He just asked if he could talk. He said he'd taken the week off work. Told them he had a family emergency. He wasn't even mad about it. He sounded calm. Quiet. Like something had finally shifted. Then he said, "I think I've let everything get away from me. It's like I woke up and realized I don't even like the kid I'm raising." I didn't say anything. I just listened. He said he'd found one of Megan's notebooks on the kitchen counter earlier that day. She'd written out a full itinerary for her Chicago trip. Brunch spots, massage appointments, museum visits, but no mention of Eli. Not even a call scheduled to check in. He said he finally understood what I'd been trying to tell him. That parenting isn't about just surviving the day. That you don't raise a kid by default. I asked him, "So what are you going to do?" He said, "I'm not sure. But I know I can't go back to how things were." I believed him. But none of us were prepared for what Megan was going to walk into when she returned. Megan came back like she always did, as if nothing had happened. Sunday afternoon, no call, no text. Just the sound of her suitcase wheels across the tile as she rolled in through the side door. Eli was in the kitchen rinsing dishes. Ryan was slicing vegetables. I wasn't there, but I heard the whole thing later from my mom, and Ryan confirmed it. She walked in and said, "Is anyone going to help me unpack, or is this the new vibe?" Neither of them looked up. She asked where everyone was. Ryan told her flatly, "We're having dinner at my parents' house tonight. You should come." He asked why. He said, "We're having a conversation. About everything." She didn't like that. Said she was tired. Said she hadn't even changed out of her airport clothes. Ryan didn't respond. He just went back to chopping. That night, everyone was already seated by the time Megan arrived. Late, of course. Wearing a full face of makeup and an outfit that said she wasn't staying long. She didn't greet anyone. She pulled out a chair like it was any other Sunday and said, "So what's the drama?" Ryan looked different that night. Not angry. Not defensive. Just done. He said, "I've decided I'm not going to pretend anymore. I've been a crap father and we've both used Sienna like a bank and a babysitter. That stops today." Megan's face didn't change. Then he kept going. He told everyone what happened at the school. What Eli said. What he did. That the school's tolerance was at 0 and they'd made it clear. One more incident and he was out. Not suspended. Expelled. Megan asked why she was just hearing about this now. Ryan said because you were in Chicago taking selfies on rooftops while your son was being investigated by the school's disciplinary board. It got quiet. The kind of quiet where you can hear someone's heartbeat across the table. Then Megan turned to me. This is what you've always wanted, right? To be the victim? I didn't speak. I didn't move. My mom did. She said, Megan, enough. You disappeared. You ignored calls. You didn't ask once how Eli was. And now you want to act like you're being attacked? Then came the twist none of us saw coming. Eli said, I don't think mom likes me that much. He said it flat. Almost like a fact. Like he just realized it that afternoon and wanted to get it out there. Megan looked shocked. She said his name like a warning, but he kept going. I try to talk to you and you're always leaving. You don't come to anything. You didn't even call when I got sent home. Ryan looked like he'd been punched in the gut. My dad stood slowly and said, Megan, we've stayed quiet for a long time. But this isn't working. You don't get to float in and out. You don't get to keep hurting this kid and expect us all to sit here and smile. He pointed to Eli, who was now staring down at his napkin. That boy deserves to be raised by people who see him. Then he pointed at Ryan. And you finally opened your eyes. Don't close them again. Megan stared at all of us. The way someone looks when they realize the room has turned. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She just nodded once slowly, then got up and started collecting dishes. It was robotic, awkward. But she did it. And for the first time ever, she didn't disappear. She stayed. The next morning, she picked Eli up from school. That same week, Ryan sent me a text. No one's perfect. But we're trying. Really trying. I stared at the screen for a long time. And for once, I didn't feel bitterness. I didn't feel smug. I felt peace. But I knew the story wasn't over. Not until he asked me for one more thing. And when he did, I already knew exactly how I'd answer. It came on a quiet Tuesday evening. The kind of night that doesn't feel like anything important is going to happen. I'd just gotten home from work, kicked off my shoes, and was halfway through reheating leftover Thai when my phone buzzed. Ryan. I didn't open it right away. I already knew. 3 weeks had passed since everything changed. Since Megan got called out in front of the whole family. Since Eli said out loud that he didn't think his own mother liked him. Since my father, the man who spent years being the silent middleman, finally drew a hard line. Since then I'd kept my distance. No bitterness, no contact, no follow-ups. I didn't want to hear about progress. I didn't want a summary of Eli's turnaround, or how Megan was trying. I just wanted to be out of it. But I'd still heard things. From my mom mostly. That Megan had been going to school events. That Eli was in therapy now. Real therapy with a specialist the school referred them to after the suspension. That Ryan had enrolled in some parenting program offered through work. That he'd even apologized to my parents. In person. I wanted to be proud of them. I wanted to care. But the truth was, I didn't know how to feel anymore. It's hard to cheer for a team that never passed you the ball until they started losing. Eventually I opened the message. Fiona, I hate to ask this. But the school emailed us. We have one more reduced payment. $600. Megan's paycheck is delayed and mine doesn't hit until Friday. I swear this is the last time. If you can help just once more, we're good. I promise. There was no excuses this time. No manipulation. No, you make more money than us guilt trip. He even said he hated asking. That alone was new. I sat with it for a while. I thought about everything. About the bag. About brunch. About the laughter. About the years of quiet resentment. Of being treated like a backup plan because I didn't have kids. Of being written off like I had nothing better to do with my life than fund theirs. And then I thought about Eli. Not the version of him that used to bark insults and cut purse straps like it was performance art. But the kid who called me on his own and admitted he thought he'd messed up. The kid who had for the first time ever been told no, and hadn't screamed about it. So I sent the money. No message. No receipt screenshot. Just done. About 20 minutes later, Ryan replied. I mean this when I say it. We'll never ask you for money again. Thank you for everything you did even when we didn't deserve it. I stared at that text for a while. I wanted to feel vindicated. I wanted to feel like I won. But all I felt was still. Like something had finally stopped spinning. Like the chapter had closed itself without slamming shut. The next weekend there was a small barbecue at my parents' place. Everyone was there. Ryan grilled. Megan brought store-bought potato salad but stayed the whole time. Eli ran around with a frisbee and said hello to everyone. When he got to me he stopped. He looked at me for a second then said, remember the purse I cut? I nodded. He said, "I don't know when, but someday I'm going to buy you a new one. A real one." I didn't say anything right away. I just looked at him. This kid who had for so long been allowed to be cruel and now finally looked like he was learning to be human. I said, "I believe you." And for the first time I actually did. No part of me wants to go back to how things were. I don't want to be part of their finances or their routines or their mess. But I'm not angry anymore. I'm not waiting for an apology or trying to teach anyone a lesson. I got what I needed. Respect. Distance. Peace. And sometimes that's the only revenge you need. The final update. 2 months passed. There were no phone calls asking for money. No last-minute Venmo requests. No guilt-laced texts about tuition or emergencies. It was the first time in years I went 8 full weeks without having to mentally calculate what part of my paycheck was already spoken for by someone else's child. I didn't brag about it. I didn't tell my friends. I just lived my life quietly the way I always wanted to. I went to work, came home, bought myself things without hesitation, and finally booked the solo trip to Seattle I'd been putting off for 3 years. No lectures, no reminders that I shouldn't travel alone, or should be saving that for a mortgage like real adults. The silence from Ryan wasn't tense or cold. It was just quiet, stable, the way it should have always been. He checked in with our parents more often now, usually about Eli. He even offered to help them set up new Wi-Fi after the old modem died. Small things but unheard of before. Eli stayed in school. No more discipline notes, no phone calls home. His teachers said he was still blunt and a little too smart for his own good, but no longer disruptive. He was in weekly therapy. They gave him assignments, journaling, emotion charts, even apology letters. My mom told me he had written one for me but hadn't sent it yet. He kept folding it and tucking it into his math book like he couldn't decide if he meant it. I didn't need it. Then out of nowhere something showed up at my door. A small padded envelope, handwritten label. From Eli. I knew his handwriting, too tall, every letter separated like he wasn't sure how cursive worked yet. Inside was a simple red keychain. The fake leather kind you find in airport gift shops. Cheap, stiff, with an uneven ring loop. On the tag in black permanent marker he had written, "Even if it's fake, it's still yours. I'm sorry." No signature. No note. Just that. I turned it over in my hand a few times, then clipped it onto my spare keys. The ones I kept in the drawer near the front door. The set I used when I watered my neighbor's plants or went down to the storage unit. It wasn't about the gesture. It was the fact that it came without prompting. Without being coached. It was a kid's version of accountability, awkward and lopsided but honest. That was the last unexpected moment. After that, things leveled out completely. Megan never brought up money again. She didn't send inspirational reels to the family group chat anymore or announce her latest destination. She stayed in town. She picked up Eli from school more often. She started showing up to the things that mattered. Parent conferences, after-school presentations, weekends that used to be outsourced to my mom. Ryan stopped bringing up the past. He never circled back to the tuition or the brunch or the purse. He paid for things himself. He and Megan got on a payment plan with the school. They didn't ask for help. They figured it out. Me. I kept the boundary in place. I visited when I felt like it. I brought dessert to family dinners, then left when the dishes hit the sink. I didn't offer to babysit. I didn't float extra cash when Eli's birthday rolled around. I gave a wrapped book and left it at that. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't holding the whole family together. And no one was asking me to. My parents noticed it too. They stopped trying to patch everything with polite silence. My mom stopped brushing things off. My dad, surprisingly, became the one person Eli genuinely listened to, not because he yelled but because he didn't. I saw the difference. Eli laughed more now, not like he was mocking someone but like he was in on the moment. He still had opinions, still liked being right, but he didn't throw fits when things didn't go his way. He was becoming someone I could actually picture growing up into a decent man. I didn't need him to be perfect. I just needed all of them to finally grow up and take care of their own lives. They did. Eventually. So no, the story didn't end with a grand apology, or a perfectly repaired relationship. It ended with small things. Quieter dinners, steady payments, one keychain in a drawer that still makes me smirk every time I see it. It ended with peace. And that was enough.